I'm working with a third of the lighting I was promised. And seriously, it's golden hour right now, so if the lighting in this video is not as good as... You know what, my lighting's never good. Let's just be honest about that. My friend Melissa wanted to know some of my tips and tricks on how to survive a life in retail. I have been working in retail. I think I have probably about 20 years experience retail. My first job was in a retail environment, and most of the rest of my jobs have been in a retail environment. Some of the things that I have learned from working in retail for, Jesus, almost half my life, to put it mildly. One thing that I have really learned, and I want to start positive here because there's way too much negative to fit into an entire video, is to really appreciate those moments when you have a good customer. And I say that because that is one of the things that doesn't happen very often. I would say majority of my customers are, they're in, they're out, they don't care, they don't want to talk to me, they don't want to be my friend. And honestly, like, I'm okay with that, but they just want what they want and they want to get out of the store. But it's not as nice as the customers that like are either the regulars or the customers that are like, acknowledge that you're a human being. What a strange concept. While you're at work and you have a customer that maybe is like that, maybe treats you like a person, or maybe it's just kind to you, or if you have a regular and you know when they come in that you're going to get to talk to them like a person because they acknowledge you, they know your name, they know maybe a little bit about you. Really take the time to appreciate those people because they are few and far between, unfortunately. Just love the heck out of the fact that like every once in a while you're gonna get a customer that is like at bare minimum decent or nice. I would also say that another positive is your schedule. If you have any control over your schedule, another thing that can be really great is having off on a Wednesday. Like, do something with that. I know the current virus situation doesn't lead for a lot of outings or meetings or anything like that, but appreciate like that most people in their 9-to-5s have to work Monday through Wednesday. So you have off this Wednesday and like have fun with that. You know, sleep in or wake up super early and find something to do and really just enjoy that your schedule's weird. So what can you do when everyone else is at work? And if you do have anyone that you can be around that maybe also is off for whatever reason, be around them, have fun with them, hang out with them. I know for me, a lot of the times during the summer, it was my kids. I would just be able to hang out with them because I had off on a Wednesday and a Thursday. So we would go out and we would do fun stuff together. We all know retail sucks. Retail is awful. It's a really underappreciated job, and for as much as it's an important job in our current economy, most people don't treat retail workers like they're human. And that really is kind of the worst part of it. People throw money at you, people yell at you just because they're having a bad day. Keep that in mind. People yell at you and it's usually not your fault. If someone's yelling at you, it's because they're having a bad day and you're just an outlet. And I know it doesn't make it hurt less, but the more that you start to understand that it's not about you, it really is about them, the more that you can understand that what your job is to make them feel heard. And that is actually how you can sometimes turn an angry customer into at least a decent customer, because I have done that on multiple occasions. Once I understood that all that person wants is to be heard, I've been able to completely change a customer, because what I do is I just listen. I actually just listen. And I say, I apologize, and I say, I'm sorry. And sometimes it feels really demeaning to do that, but I think it's meaningful if you're on their side and you want to help them if you can. And like your main goal is actually to serve them, to help them, to do what it is that they want. Now, some people are just miserable. That is a fact. Some people are just upset and grumpy. You can't do anything about those people. You can try, but if they just keep being miserable, that is what your manager's for. Or if you are the manager, that's what kicking people out of your store is for. And I've been in both places and I've done it either way. Either I called the manager and I let the manager deal with it, or when I was the manager, I would tell them to leave. And if they didn't leave, I would actually call the cops on them. Because if they're going to keep coming at me, I don't deserve that. I've been in this job for far too long to deal with nonsense like that. Between me and you can take whatever they're saying and throw it in the trash when you're done with them. Because we all know the customer's not always right. But in that moment, if you want to take someone who is very, very upset and kind of calm them down, listen to them. The one thing that I have learned about working customer service and working retail and being around people, all anyone wants is to feel like they're being heard. Like they have a voice and it matters. And I mean, that's what my channel's about. That's what I've been trying to do for these last 5 years, is really to work on having my voice. Having my voice has allowed me to listen to other people. And yeah, I have to listen to some crazy conspiracies sometimes. And yeah, I have to listen to people vent about stuff that maybe I don't want to know about. But I listen. Then I take what I hear and I throw it in the mental trash can. And I move on with my life, because that person feels like they have been heard. As far as doing the job beyond customers, which honestly retail is 90% customer service. If you can create lists for yourself, or if you can speak to your manager, if you have a manager, about creating lists for yourself to make sure that you're doing exactly what they expect of you. And I mean, write it down, check it off when you've done it. If there's something you can't do, write a note saying, hey, I really tried to get to this, but XYZ happened. And because XYZ happened, I couldn't do this thing. It's usually the customers that tend to divert your attention. You can't control that. As much as you can control the situation, you can't control the fact that it's happening. You ask questions if there is the slightest bit of an uncertainty in communication between you and your boss. So repeat back to them. You want me to do this. And I don't care how stupid you feel like you sound. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have done that, and it has really helped me make sure that my boss understands that I understand what they're saying. One thing that I did when I was the manager is I had a communication log. So on top of communicating it, writing it down in your little journal that you've had for yourself, also just have a communication log, because maybe you also need to communicate with like the shift supervisor. So have a communication log where you're talking to everyone if you aren't going to see them the next day. Communication, 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 communication. You can do it, and if you can't speak up, ask for help. As a manager, I would have rather have had my employees ask for help than fail to do the work. I think those are like the biggest things, because I could really get into nitty-gritty details, but overall, I think those are the main things to focus on. If you have any further questions or any other information that you want to glean from my years of wisdom working in the actually probably worst job possible, please let me know in the comments and we'll see what happens next week. All right, bye. I'm working with a third of the lighting. I'm working with a third of the lighting I was promised.